It's sort of embarrassing to say as an Englishman, but I'd been working in America for so long that when I got King Arthur, I had to hire a dialect coach to help me sound English again, which was sort of an absurd situation to find myself in. Hi, I am Charlie Hunam, and today I am going to be revisiting some scenes from my career. I never watch myself. The idea of watching these clips now is terrifying, but I'm willing to do it for my love of Vanity Fair. Let's watch. My son is twisted up. He just lost his mom. Goodness, right on. Okay. Holy moly, this is a great scene. The scene I think that I've been most nervous about in my whole career. For those that don't know the show, and I'm sorry, there can be some pretty serious spoilers here, I confront my best friend who knew that my mother had killed my wife and failed to tell me that. It's about 9 pages of dialogue, and I said, I'm not rehearsing it. I just need to go away and prepare, and we're just gonna do it, you know? So we set everything up, and something happened in the room where life became what was happening. Like, we were actually in that room. This was actually happening to us. And I just broke down and started wailing inconsolably and sort of being violent with my guy. And it was really good. It was better than I could have ever hoped it was going to be. Peter Weller was directing the episode and came in and went, I don't know what that was, but it was the greatest single thing I've ever seen. It's a wrap. We're not shooting it again. And then our beautiful cinematographer, Paul Maybaum, came in white. And he said, actually, we are shooting that again. The camera didn't roll. And it wasn't as good. But them's the breaks, you know? It's still pretty good. I had an extraordinary experience in researching this role and this character, where we had a wonderful producer called John Linson. And through John, I had access to a motorcycle club from Oakland, a well-known club. And I got to meet the guy that I was gonna play. There's a kid called Chill Will. His dad was also in the motorcycle club. And I met him and spent 4 days with him and loved him and got to see what the real of this thing was. But I had to come back and work with Kurt because we were about to start shooting the show. Unfortunately, Will lost his life at that day. I then felt this responsibility in a way to honor him through this character. Was it true? I got a lot of criticism for some of the choices I made. You know, I wore white tennis shoes, but this kid was a 19-year-old West Coast, Oakland badass, and he's gonna wear sneakers and Dickies, and that was his vibe. So I modeled a lot on Chill Will, and I got a lot of criticism, you know, bikers wear leather boots sort of vibe. I just went, okay, well, you know, maybe most bikers do, but these ones don't.
Your mom was on the floor, freaked out.
Through the course of the show, I had the benefit of losing some of my brothers on the show. The epic, amazing Ryan Hurst, who played Opie, was the first to go, and he really struggled with saying goodbye to that character. He had this beautiful sort of articulation where he said that every actor carries around a graveyard full of characters that they've brought to life and then had to kill, but Opie was the first time in his career that the son of a bitch refused to die. He was just alive and in him. And he found himself in a bookshop. He said there's about 1,000 books in the bookstore dedicated to the creation of a character, and not a single line in any of them of how to kill them when you were finished. And so I knew that it was going to be rough after 8 years of living with Jax to try to say goodbye to him. I'd shared my psyche and body with him. You can keep it to peel your grapes.
Now, that would have hurt a lot more if I left the ring on.
I had forgotten Aidan Gillen slapped the shit out of me. That was a real slap, and that was not scripted. I totally forgotten. I worked with Aidan Gillen on Queer as Folk and we played lovers. And it was an amazing experience being exposed to his process and just an actor of that caliber, his integrity. That I remember just being so excited, 15 years later to go back and get to work with him again until he slapped the shit out of me unscripted. And then I was less excited about working with him in the next scene. King Arthur, my first opportunity to work with Guy Ritchie, which was a dream come true. I'd grown up on Snatch and Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, so it was very exciting to get to do this. I see what you're doing. You're trying to get me to do something razzle-dazzle with that sword. I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm not getting drawn into this mess. It felt like me and Guy had a shorthand from minute one. I knew that we were gonna love each other. He was less confident that that was gonna be the case, and he didn't want to see me. And King Arthur is like my movie. I wanted to become an actor from watching John Borman's Excalibur. Felt like if we're doing King Arthur, that's my role. But he didn't want to see me. And so I said, please, literally 20 minutes, a cup of tea. I'll fly myself to England. I'm asking just for 15 minutes so I can tell you how much I love you and this movie. And then if you still don't like me, then, that's, more fool you. Guy is fantastic with action. It's interesting. Some of the great action sequences in the film were never rehearsed, never actually written onto the page. I show up and Guy said, we're gonna go over to this other location and let's put together a little fight scene. And so he would just put these action sequences together, and a couple of the great ones from this film were just literally done in an hour on the day. I haven't seen this film since we made it. Let's roll it.
Come down from there.
No, sir. Here's fine.
I'll just shoot the horse out from under you.
You riding Captain Teague's animal?
I was handsome when I was 22. I remember when I met with Anthony Minghella, he said, why do you want to do this role? And I said, the confidence of youth, which is my last line in this film.
Tell you what I got on my side.
What you got on your side?
Confidence of youth.
And then kill the hero of the film that we've watched for 2.5 hours trying to get home, and he gets home and I kill him. Sorry, Jude. I was suggested to Anthony Minghella, and he didn't know my work, and so he read some interviews with me. And I suppose I had done an interview at some point where I was talking about, I guess, being handsome in some capacity. I think I had been asked if I thought that was sort of an imposition to being a serious actor, and I said, no, you need to capitalize on every opportunity that you have and all of, the tools in your toolbox. And if I'm getting hired over other actors because I'm slightly more handsome than they are, then that's unfortunate for them, but pretty good for me, and I'll take that.
That was a white.
That was Irish.
Now, your friend, Georgia here, we went down to visit you when we heard you were harboring deserters, and he told us, after some persuasion.
It was pretty intimidating. I remember feeling a bit out of my depth. I was having the opportunity to work with some titans of the industry. Ray Winston, for instance, and to be going sort of toe-to-toe with Ray Winston. I'd grown up being an enormous fan of his, and to me, the man was just a colossus. I think this was December 20th, something like that. It was about 4 o'clock in the morning. We were up a mountain and we were doing a scene, and it's just sometimes it has to be manufactured in the editing. Sometimes there's just magic happening in real time. And that was one of those times. It was 4 o'clock in the morning and we were trying to force our teeth to stop chattering so we could say lines of dialogue. And it was just alive and magic and great. And then somebody called cut in the middle of the scene. And when a scene's going well and someone calls cut, there's a problem. And someone said, what is going on? And they said, sorry, the film froze in the camera. And that was a wrap for us. It's not very easy to defrost a camera. So we went home and came back in January and finished.
We say enough, fam? Huh? Now I got back up.
You couldn't lock up a phone, you...
Bruv, this guy's trying to take my phone.
This is the perfect example of Guy Ritchie's mastery of filmmaking. This scene didn't exist in the script. We had these great boys, and it was a chase sequence, and they were coming with their, London banter. And he said, I just feel like we gotta do a scene with these boys. Are you willing to just roll with it? I'm here to work, bro, let's go. Guy put the camera on me, he wanted to establish my side of it first, and he was just calling out lines of the best dialogue on the fly. Just tell him, and then I'll be gone like the darkness at dawn. Then I'll be gone like the darkness at dawn. Yeah, that was good, do it again. So I would say it again, and then he would say like, give him one of these ones. No, look at me, Charlie, give him one of these. So we just literally got a camera up and we shot that scene in, 45 minutes, something like that. And Guy really is a master of, working on the fly. I gotta try to get Guy Ritchie to hire me again. I don't know, I thought I did good work in this, and he's made a couple of movies since, no phone call, no invitation. Where's the love, Guy? Come on.
Who are you? What do you want?
Enemy Costin. I replied to your advert in the Times.
Robert is a really, really interesting, talented creature. We didn't really talk or hang out in any capacity other than on screen. And there's conflict between these characters, and I could feel it right off the bat. Okay, this isn't gonna be a situation where we're gonna hold each other's hands, cheerlead each other through this. We're gonna be standing on either side of a ring, and we'll meet in the middle and figure out what happens. I only got to know the character. I mean, if I met Robert now, it would be like I was meeting him for the first time. I really respect him and admire him, though. I think he's a terrific actor.
Are you drunk, Mr. Costin? No. You could have fooled me. Well,
I finished shooting King Arthur and was 185 pounds, and then had 10 days to pivot into getting ready for Lost City of Zed. And I was in a costume fitting with James Gray, and I took my shirt off and revealed my physique, and he started to cry. And I said, something tells me these are tears of joy. And he said, I think you just ruined my film. You look like a pugilist. We need a Victorian gentleman. And I said, don't worry, I got 10 days. So I didn't eat anything for 10 days, and I lost 10 pounds. So I was already down to 175. And then I weighed myself the day we finished 10 weeks later, and I was 145 pounds.
My reputation as a man rests entirely on our success. I think you shall find me capable of every sacrifice.
I thought the central conflict that I could really relate to of Percy Fawcett was the balance between bringing forth what he wanted, his intention for his life, and his responsibilities that he had specifically to his family. And he opted to fulfill his sense of purpose more than he felt the need to adhere to the responsibility as a family man. That was something that I could really relate to and wanted to capitalize on. So I had decided when I left, I just took a little hold all. I didn't take anything with me but the script and 2 changes of clothes. I didn't take a phone or a computer, and said to everyone in my life, my mom and my fiance and everyone, I'll see you when I'm finished. I have to be selfish. I have to feel you missing me. I have to be worried about you, and I have to feel like a prick. So I'm sorry, but I'm gonna ask you all to do this for me. And they said, okay, we get it. We don't love it, but we get it.
Why are you trying to help me? I barely know you. You know nothing about me.
Because you're my mate.
Oh, yeah, mate.
Angry Lynn. He was having a particularly bad day. This is a project that's kind of like a dream come true for me. I read the novel, which this TV show is based on, 7 years ago. It's the first opportunity that I've had to fully produce. I mean, I've been involved in this for 7 years. I'm really pleased with the show, and we've only told the first chapter, the first quarter of the book. So I'm very hopeful that we'll be able to catch an audience and tell the rest of the story.
What?
Listen, here
we have nothing. This place is not working without everyone helping each other. Like I want to help you.
I really enjoy long-form storytelling, enjoy being able to play a character for a long period of time and to get to work with the other actors and develop the sort of molecular nuances of those relationships. So when I finished Sons, was very eager after a break to go back to television. And then I was given Shantaram, really just to look at as an adaptation for screen, not specific, but I knew the history of this book, that Warner Brothers had owned it for 15 years. Now this is a 980-page odyssey, and so to try to distill that down to 2 hours was, pretty much impossible. Looking at it through the lens of being a giant fan of long-form storytelling, I read the book and I called my producer friend who gave it to me, and I said, "This is a TV show, right?" And he said, "Chico, it's a TV show and you are Lynn Barber. Let's go to work." So we went to work.
With us both working together, we will make good money.
I really believe that India is the central character of this piece, and so it's set in India, in Bombay, which is now Mumbai, 1979. We lost the ability to shoot in India due to COVID, so then we lost our central character and had to pivot and ultimately go and shoot in Thailand. But luckily for us, we had an extraordinary production designer called Chris Kennedy, who literally created India for us in Bangkok, in Thailand. It was a real challenge, and I really believe that India is the lead character of the show. I feel quite proud of the way we were able to do that and sort of overcome those challenges. In the beginning of my career, I thought that I didn't like watching the end result because it was ultimately watching someone else's vision of the work and not my own. And the difference between those two visions would kind of throw me a little bit. And over the years, when I've gotten the opportunity to work with more and more directors where I felt like our visions were completely aligned, I realized that it's actually that I just don't like watching my own work.